Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about Basho, the era of scaling, and scaling applies to many things, not just TPS, transactions per second. And we're going to look at one of those things in this video and how it's actually a huge deal. And of course, I am referring to mithril, which essentially is scaling. For now, one of the main use cases is how we get a node up to date, but actually could be this version of compacting the blockchain, utilizing and not sacrificing any security, and actually taking that data and moving it elsewhere. This is a big deal. Those of you that watch me regularly will know we're a big fan of the Algorand blockchain. We recently had John Wood, the CTO at the Algorand Foundation, who was the CTO of Cardano, come on, and one of the things he mentioned was state proofs, and we've actually done a video covering state proofs, and there's some similarities between mithril and state proofs, but state proofs are a big deal because essentially they allow you to take Algorand secured data and potentially take it to other chains, allowing for this kind of trustless bridge and interoperability and messaging. You know, people, when they think about interoperability, are trying to reinvent the wheel. They're trying to physically move an ERC20 and take it over to, become a BEP20 or something. Whereas I don't think you need the burn and release mechanism. You just need a messaging service that will essentially combat that. And that's how you achieve interoperability. And state proofs are a big part of that. And how they do that is by compressing the blockchain, making these kind of checkpoints. It's kind of similar to how mithril works. And that's exactly what we're going to be diving into in this video. It's my belief that this trend of compressing the blockchain and not having to, every time you want to verify it, have this big long chain to go through. If you think about technology, for example, mobile phones, you started off with this massive clunky mobile phone with a satellite on the end, and now you've got, in equivalent to that, a supercomputer in your pocket. Things get compressed, and this is the way that this is a big trend I think we're going to see for blockchain, and mithril is a real step forward for Cardano. It's game changing. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at mithril. We're also going to look at it when mithril is applied to the Cardano blockchain and when it's not, and just see the sort of speed comparison. I want to start by playing a clip of Charles Hoskinson talking about Ouroboros, because Ouroboros is one of, if not the best consensus out there for proof of stake. So much so that other blockchains have taken sort of admiration from it or insight from it and applied it to their own chain. And this is something I see a lot of people losing faith in Cardano. I think there are some valid criticisms you can throw against it, but from a technology side point of view, and I'm not technological, I only know this through talking to people who are far more smart on the subject than I am. It's a very eloquent blockchain that could offer unbelievable security. And if you can utilize that security, and we see layer 2s come to the forefront, we're seeing all this stuff sort of happening, with people maybe going cross chain and building on top of the underlying chain, but taking traffic off of it. You've got a real strong base to do whatever to be an operating system. And this is what Cardano has always been set out to be, a sort of financial operating system that you build on top of. So I'll go ahead and play that clip talking about Cardano, made the top GitHubs again, along with Polkadot. Layer 1 and Layer 0, there's this kind of battle. What's the better way to do blockchain? Well, Cardano almost is, and I'm a big fan of Polkadot, by the way, a relay chain in a sense. Because if you think about Polkadot, it's got this relay chain in the middle and all these Layer 1s attached to it. Cardano essentially could be the same in regards to Layer 2s built vertically above and below it. And actually, mithril, bringing it back to the topic that we're going to be talking about today, could be a core part of that in terms of speed, throughput, and really just bootstrapping the entire space. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my face, and let's get into it, guys. Let's start off with a clip from Charles Hoskinson. Then we're going to get into the mithril paper, look at a comparison with mithril on and mithril off, and then we'll wrap the video up.
You said your aim was to create the best proof of stake the world's ever seen, and we did. We 100% did. Promises made, promises delivered. Ouroboros, bar none, is the best proof of stake. It has the best theoretical properties, the highest level of security. It has an organic way of becoming more decentralized over time. It's asynchronous with the Genesis model. It bootstraps from Genesis. It's got one of the largest set of validators around. It's amazing. And with the upgraded input endorsers, the highest throughput ever seen. Meanwhile, your staking model is liquid and custodial, non-custodial, meaning no one controls it. You control it. You don't tell me that that's not the best model. It absolutely is.
Yeah, I can't help but somewhat agree. I think there's others that can compete with it, but the consensus mechanism for Cardano is, unbelievable from a decentralized point of view, from a sort of how a blockchain, or you'd want, if Satoshi was about looking at Bitcoin but wanting to make a proof of stake, Cardano probably fits that bill the best. But let's get into Mithril, guys. So Mithril Proof of Concepts is now open source. Mithril is a stake-based signature scheme that improves the speed and efficiency of syncing time for nodes joining the network. Find out how to get involved. So Mithril Proof of Concept is now open sourced, a stake-based signature scheme to improve node sync speed and efficiency. As Cardano scales, remember we're in the Bash O era of scalability, ladies and gentlemen. Input Output IOG engineering team are working on a range of solutions to boost network performance. Mithril is one such solution, aiming to streamline the speed and efficiency of data synchronization between applications. Remember, this is important as we build out this sort of layer 2 world, and we need to come up with ways of compressing data for speed. So during July's 360 show, IOG Architect shared a Mithril development update. The importance of Mithril for Cardano operations. By running a Cardano node, users can interact with the blockchain in a trustless way. So it really helps that decentralization, Mithril. The network combines thousands of nodes into one unified system where they communicate with other nodes to share information about new blocks and transactions. Because each node holds a full copy of the blockchain, node synchronization takes time. Each new node needs to download and verify each block. Daedalus, for example, is a full node wallet that downloads a full copy of Cardano's blockchain and independently validates every transaction in its history. True trustlessness, guys. This requires specific software and storage requirements, which also means that it requires more time to synchronize the chain state. Mithril essentially, it eliminates that having to have certain software or hardware, because you're compressing the data down massively. So the goal of Mithril is to leverage the existing network to provide certified snapshots of all or part of the blockchain state. These snapshots can be used in different ways. The IOG has been working on the first use case to leverage Mithril to quickly and efficiently bootstrap a full Cardano node. So this will essentially improve Daedalus massively and give people access to a trusted, through these snapshots, basically checkpoint to validate the node without you having to do all the work. It's pretty genius, and this is just one use case. For example, with state proofs, it means you can send those proofs to other blockchains and they can actually verify what's where in a trustless way, which is one of the big issues with bridges. Utilizing Algorand. Cardano, this is similar in what it's essentially trying to do. So how does it work? Mithril is based on the same concept as stake that powers the Ouroboros proof of stake consensus protocol that we just heard Charles talking about. With Ouroboros, stakeholders are elected to produce blocks randomly with a chance proportional to the amount of stake they own or delegate. With Mithril, stakeholders can sign the current ledger state according to a lottery mechanism where a probability to contribute is also proportional to their stake. The signatures generated by the stakeholders are then combined or aggregated into a Mithril multi-signature, which can only be produced when a predefined threshold quorum of the total stake is contributed. Mithril relies on the unique guarantees provided by underlying cryptographic primitives to secure the lottery process. Mithril operates on top of the main ledger, which ensures no interface with Mithril operations, mainnet operations, and as a signature created are condensed, it requires minimal extra resources and bandwidth usage for the signing nodes. So it's going to bootstrap Cardano, but it won't be a part of the main net, which means that if it adds an issue, it won't affect ADA. The peculiarity of mithril certificates is that they carry the same security properties as Cardano's underlying protocol. So they're as good as referencing the entire blockchain, Ouroboros. The security of mithril relies primarily on state distribution of Cardano itself without the need for a trusted setup. The mithril network can achieve the highest level of security as long as all SPOs join the network. So even if it didn't have all SPOs, it just means it would have a slightly less secure blockchain, but still similar essentially. So development timeline, I'll speed this up and then I'll play a clip of these two mithril and non-mithril side by side to show you the time difference. And this is just one application. There's going to be many for it, I believe. When you compress a blockchain, and you don't have to do that full loading service, it essentially means that actually like all wallets could have the same kind of trustlessness that that Daedalus has, because they can now do it on board that in a really easy to use and light way, I think is the primary word here. So currently the team is on the final stages of mithril network optimization and testing it for centralized version. So they're on the final stage. We're going to get mithril this year, guys. It's all part of the Basho scaling. We're also going to get a huge rollout of layer 2s, which, you know, are likely going to be used for interoperability, all this other great stuff, different languages, you know, all sorts. Let's take a quick look at the two nodes running side by side,
and
now the two processes synchronizing with mithril and without, just to show you the huge difference, and then we'll wrap this video up.
I am going to present the video demo. So in this demonstration, we have been trying to benchmark the bootstrapping of a Cardano node that is embedded in the Daedalus wallet with and without mithril, and everything on the mainnet. So on the left side, it's with mithril. On the right side, it's without. With mithril, we can see that there is a little bit different sequence at the startup, because the mithril client will first download the snapshot, then verify that the snapshot is authentic, which means that the multi-signature embedded with its certificate is valid. And then it will unpack the snapshot, feed the Cardano node with it, and the Cardano node will start running some verification and again try to synchronize.
So you can see the mithril one is synchronized way faster.
The node with the rest of the chain. On the right, without mithril, it's a classical way of bootstrapping a Cardano node. You set it up and then you wait. You request the blocks from the genesis to the tip of the chain with several peers on the network. And as you can see, it takes a little bit more time. So to give you some figures, today the mainnet database is about 90 gigabytes uncompressed and 50 gigabytes compressed, so it's kind of heavy. So that's why it takes times. As you can see with mithril, we've been able to restore in just 1 hour and 50 seconds a full node and to get it synced completely with the mainnet, which is very impressive. Without mithril, it took a little bit longer. It took about 16 hours. So we can see that there is almost 15 times speed up with mithril.
Huge. And that's coming this year, guys. This is just one of the things to be excited about that Cardano has planned for you this year. Exciting time. We'll see. You know, the market perspective look to be somewhat changing. I think that the worst is essentially behind us. If you want to find out the price, we did do a price video yesterday. This is just a fundamental one where we don't really go into the price. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys. Mithril, going to be a big deal. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, a like, I always appreciate it. So as a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gents.